Applying to Colleges Part 2. Hi guys, it's your girl Tafazo Mapiki back again for the fun and to share information with you. If you're a returner, welcome back. If you are new, you're in the right place. Alright, so today's video is going to be part 2 of applying to U.S. colleges. I know that I just posted part 1 and that was like all of it, but I'm back guys with a part 2. I promised a part 2 and here it is. Before I move on, I posted a story on my Instagram and I asked you guys if there were any topics that you wanted me to talk about. So I want to share with you what other people suggested, and if you feel like I really have to talk about one of these topics ASAP, then comment down below and I'll record a video for you soon. Okay, so one person asked that how do you navigate being a first-generation low-income international student in college? I have so many stories about that. I didn't know how to budget when I came here, so I know very well how it feels to be a first-generation student from a low-income family. So anyways, that's a very good suggestion. Someone also asked me to share about seeking research opportunities. That video is on my list and you're definitely going to get one soon. And I'm so excited to talk about this because I can say that I'm getting to be an expert. I'm not yet an expert, but I'm getting there. Then one of the suggestions that I liked was share with us your leadership skills because you have been my leader since high school and you're still doing it now in college. Yes. I'm definitely going to show about leadership skills. I've learned a lot about being a leader in college and I feel like I have to talk about it in my experience. Maybe we can do a vlog someday and talk about a day in being a president in college. And then another one was holiday in the US. Send me the money so that I can travel and then we can talk about holiday in the US. But there's so many beautiful places in the US and I would be so excited to record videos if I end up going somewhere. Send me the money and we'll talk about it. And then the next one is scholarships. I am really big on scholarships because when I applied, I also looked up videos and I think scholarships is one thing that we all need to know and hear about. So if you are a returner or new, then stay tuned for the scholarship video. Then the last one that I liked was, girls should care about their appearances. Can you share how someone can do that on a low budget? Talking about looking good and not spending so much money, I am not an expert about that. But from experience, I'm going to share a video with you all about how to look good as a girl while spending less money. Okay, now let's get on to the serious business. Applying to colleges part 2. Last time in video part 1, I gave you guys a list of what you need to attain before you even start thinking about applying to U.S. colleges. So if you have sat down and you realize that you can achieve all of the things on that list, then this video is for you. Because the question is, what's next? What do I do after achieving the stuff on the list? So the next process is making a college list. Yes, making a college list. There are so many colleges in the United States and all of them are good. So when you apply, you don't want to apply to every single college in the US because it's too much work and I think technically it's impossible. So you have to come up with a college list with about 9 colleges that you want to apply to or more, but maybe less than 20, right? Because you also have to pay for these college applications. So you have to consider your budget, you have to consider the time that you have. So when you're making a college list, have a minimum of at least 9. So since there are so many colleges in the US to choose from, I'm here to help you on how you can eliminate some of the colleges and keep only 9 colleges on your list or whatever number that you decide to go with. Let's use the process of elimination. That's what I did, that's what I used, and it worked so well for me. So when you're doing your process of elimination, the first thing to consider is, are the schools that you're applying to SAT optional or they require SATs? Taking the SAT exam requires a lot, including time to study, money to register for the SAT. Some people study for 3 to 6 months. Some people take less than that. It's honestly different from person to person. So you have to consider if you have the time to study for this exam and also if you have the money to register for this exam. If yes, then you're looking at schools that require the SAT. But then if no, then you probably want to focus on schools that are SAT optional or schools that don't require the SAT. If you have no idea of what I'm talking about, then please go check out my first video because I gave an explanation of what you need to apply to U.S. colleges and I explained what the SAT is and things that you have to do for the exam. The one thing that I probably did not mention about SATs is, in as much as it has specific test dates, there are also deadlines to registering for those test dates. So the last time I checked, I think the deadline to register for an SAT was a month before the actual day of registration. And then when you take the exam, your scores will be out within 14 days. So you also need to know that so that when you're considering your time frame, you put that in. If you need more information about how to study for the SAT, tips, registration dates, the deadlines, and everything about it, I'm going to post more videos on that subject. But for now, check the link over here or here. Wherever it is, use that link. Now that you only have schools that match with your SAT status, then consider this next step, which is the most important step: financial aid consideration. Take a look at the schools that you have on your list and see how much financial aid they provide. You are not trying to come to the United States and pay out of pocket because colleges here are expensive. Unless, of course, if you can do that, then that's good. But if you know that you cannot fully fund for yourself, then apply to colleges that offer financial aid because there are so many of them. You can apply to colleges that give 100% scholarships or look for colleges that will give you enough financial aid so that you can cover the gap between the actual tuition and the money that you got from scholarships. If a college offers financial aid, then yes, keep it on the list. If it doesn't, scrub it off. I have a list of SAT optional schools that offer scholarships and the amount that they offer in these scholarships. So if you want to have that, you can DM me on Instagram and I will gladly share this list with you so that you can use it as a helpful resource. Moving on, the third step is actually grouping the list of schools that you have. So it's very encouraged for you to group these schools into 3 categories. I was advised to do the same thing, but poor me after high school. I thought I did not have so much time to do that, and I did not follow the advice that I received to group all my schools into 3 categories. And what I did, instead of having a minimum of 9 schools on my college list, I only had 5 schools on my college list, and I did not even categorize them. All I knew was that they were not SAT optional, so I took the SAT, and that they also gave financial aid. That was all that I knew about my colleges and more research, but I did not categorize them. So feel very honored that you're getting this advice right now before you apply. Make sure that the schools that you're applying to fall into 1, the rich or least likely to accept you. 2, the likely to accept you, normally called the possible schools. And then 3, the most likely to accept you, normally called the safety schools. So these categories are grouped referring to your GPA, your letters of recommendation, your co-curricular activities, and all your exam scores like SAT scores. So with the least likely to accept you, you probably have a GPA that's literally on the average benchmark. And you probably have letters of recommendations that are not as good to meet the standard of those schools. And maybe your exam or your test score is not as good as their average benchmark. Then you are just trying your best and trying your luck to get into that school. That's why they are called the least likely or the rich school. Now for the second option, which are the most likely, they are those type of schools where you meet every single requirement. Your GPA is above average, your test scores are above average, your letters of recommendations are amazing, your core curricular activities are also above what an average student does. So then that's you're likely to get accepted into. Then the last category, which is the most likely, that one you are literally the top standard when you're looking at yourself in reference to all the requirements that they have on their website. Now, talking about website, it leads me to the next point that you need to use during your process of elimination. After you have a list of your 9 schools, 3 least likely, 3 likely, and 3 most likely, then move on to go to their website to research more about the schools. You don't want to just know the application requirements. You want to know if this school is a good fit for you. Because remember, they will ask you in one of the essays why you chose that school. Why Harvard? Why Yale? Why Youngstown State University? Why Wellesley College? They will ask you all of that. So go ahead and read about these schools so that you know how to answer this type of questions. My next point is the website. Be a friend to this website. Be able to navigate the student life, residential life, academic life, life in a classroom. Some people here in the US go on what are called tours. So they are like tours that they do to see the school before they actually decide to apply to the school. Now, for most of us international students, we don't have that privilege because you have to fly 8,000 miles or more to come and have a tour at a specific school. But after the pandemic, oh, thank goodness to social media, they now have all these tours online. You can literally go on their website and tour the school. You can see the classroom, you can see the gym, you can see their residential halls. You can do that online. So go on their website and try your best to navigate around it so that you know more about the school. While you're on the website, take a look at how the application is submitted. For some schools, applications are submitted through the website, but for some schools, applications are submitted through the common application, or it can be both. Now, the common application is a platform that allows you to use one application to apply to at most 20 schools. It helps you to not fill out 20 different applications, but to just do it once and then submit to your different schools. However, essays might be different for the common app because you cannot write the same essays of why you chose one school to another school. Each of those has to be unique, different, and convincing enough to the admissions officers that you really want to go to their school. The common application will only allow you to apply for admission, but you also need to apply for scholarships. So for some schools, you can apply for these scholarships on their website again, more like how you applied for admission. For all the schools that you use the common app application to apply with, you have to use the CSS profile, which is known as the College Scholarship Services, where you can apply for scholarships. You know what? This should be our next video. If I don't tell you this, then there's really no point of this video. All these things, college applications, college admissions, interviews, everything happens within a timeline. There is a certain date when the college application opens, and there's a certain date when the college applications close. Now you have to go and do your research about that because it's also different with the college application. However, the general time is always from August through March. That's when they open the application, you submit it, they will interview you and then give out their decisions. This time frame is also dependent on the type of application plan that you have decided to go with. Now there are 2 types of application plans. There's the binding application and the non-binding. For the binding application, there is Early Decision 1 and Early Decision 2. These are just names that we give to application plans. But if it's Early Decision 1 or Early Decision 2, it means you're submitting your application early, you're expecting to get a response early, and if you get accepted into any of the schools that you applied to, then you are bound to go to that school. So it is always encouraged that when you apply Early Decision 1 or Early Decision 2, only apply to one college so that when it accepts you, you get to go to that college. The non-binding plans consist of early action and regular decision. Early action just means you want to get your responses earlier than everyone else who applies for the regular decision. So you'll probably get a decision in December. But if you apply for regular decision, you get your decision in March. But also, the earlier you want your response, it means the earlier the deadline. So be knowledgeable and educate yourself about these application plans and deadlines. And this explains the last point that I had for you all today. Now, a rundown of what we talked about in this video, because we were all over the place, weren't we? Anyways, 1. Make a college list, looking at your SAT status and the financial aid that is provided by the school. 2. Rank these colleges into 3 categories: the least likely to accept you, the likely to accept you, and the most likely to accept you. 3. Be able to navigate around the websites of all these colleges that you have on your list, at least 9 colleges. Now be able to navigate their website so that you know more about this college, and also so that you know more about how the application is submitted. It could be through the website or through the common app. 4. Be aware of the application plans and deadlines so that you do not miss the deadline to submit your beautiful and amazing application that you would have been working on for months. Good luck and see you on our next video.